Good evening. You're watching the main news on HKIBC. I'm Sarah Wong. Our top stories tonight. Current social distancing measures are to stay in place until the end of June. Snack chain Aji Ichiban takes a hit from COVID and closes all its branches. And in Britain, Boris Johnson survives a revolt in his ruling party. Existing social distancing measures will remain unchanged until the end of this month. This was announced by the chief executive as she pledged to make conditions favorable for the visit of a mainland state leader to mark the handover anniversary. Joanna Ho reports.
Speaking before the weekly Executive Council meeting this morning, Chief Executive Carrie Lam said current social distancing measures, including border restrictions, will not be relaxed or tightened again until her term ends on June 30th. She said an increase in daily COVID infections recently triggered concerns, but was cautious when asked about the possibility of another wave.
For the time being, it is a bit too early to say that we are now confronting a sixth wave of the COVID-19 epidemic, because it needs a lot more indicators in order to confirm the situation.
Lam said health officials will meet the aides of incoming leader John Lee to discuss social distancing measures after he takes office. The chief executive declined to comment on whether she and other officials would isolate for a week before welcoming a state leader for the handover anniversary. This came amid speculation that President Xi Jinping will visit the city.
I cannot confirm at this moment that there will be a visit by the president of our country.
Lam, however, pledged to create a favorable condition for the visit of a high-ranking official from Beijing. She added that starting today, all rapid antigen test results will have to be double-checked by health officials through PCR tests before they are classified as confirmed. She said the recent rise in false positive test reports gives a distorted view of the actual situation. Joanna Ho, HKIBC.
The city has added 489 COVID infections, with 4 being suspected BA.2.12.1 cases. 2 subvariant cases, a 15-year-old girl and a 67-year-old relative, are untraceable. The other 2 patients are from the same family living in Jeff Foy Mansion in Causeway Bay. Another family member had contracted the virus earlier. Meanwhile, Class P5R of the Kiangsu and Chekiang Primary School in North Point has been ordered to suspend face-to-face teaching for 1 week. This came after 5 students and 2 teachers from the class tested positive. Snack chain Aji Ichiban has shut down all its branches in Hong Kong because COVID restrictions led to a sharp decline in customers. The closure has an impact on prisoners, as the firm's beef jerky is one of the few snacks they are allowed to receive. Chloe Feng reports.
The Aji Ichiban snack chain has become the latest to fall victim to restrictions imposed because of COVID. Almost 30 years after its establishment, all its branches locally and overseas have closed. Security guards guarded its headquarters in Kwai Chung, and no visitors were allowed. The company had been shutting its more than 100 Hong Kong stores gradually as sales plunged because of COVID restrictions. The last 4 local outlets closed for business yesterday. A company representative said tourists were key customers. With quarantine-free travel from the mainland on hold and with no sign of reopening soon, the firm decided to cut its losses. It received almost $400,000 from the government employment support scheme for 50 employees last month and will compensate all affected staff. The closure has an impact on prisoners because the beef jerky sold by Aji Ichiban is one of 6 snacks approved by the Correctional Services Department for inmates. Concern groups and former lawmaker Xu Ka-chun, who has been focusing on prisoners' rights, urged the government to come up with alternatives as soon as possible. Chief Executive Carrie Lam said she believed the department will be willing to offer replacements. Chloe Feng, HKIBC.
Tram fares are increasing for the first time in 4 years, with adults having to pay $3 a ride from next month. The increase was given the green light by the Executive Council today. Starting on July 11th, adults will have to pay 40 cents more. The fare for children under 12 years old will rise from $1.30 to $1.50, while the elderly will have to pay $1.30, up 10 cents. The government said the increase is necessary because patronage fell during the pandemic and Hong Kong tramways needs financial stability to maintain efficiency and quality. The police have introduced a new channel for people to report suspected terrorist activities. Up to $800,000 could be awarded for useful information. Isaac Lee reports.
Starting tomorrow, people can use this number to alert officers through SMS or WeChat of any person or incident allegedly related to terrorism. Police said it is an upgrade of the anti-violence hotline launched during the 2019 social unrests. The Interdepartmental Counter-Terrorism Unit will investigate reports it receives. Rewards ranging from $4,000 to $800,000 will be given for reliable and important intelligence. Senior Superintendent Leung Wai-Ki believes the system will not be abused, adding that those who intentionally provide false information will be penalized. Chief Executive Carrie Lam, meanwhile, warned that radicals and people whom she described as lone wolves could cause problems. Although the national security law enacted 2 years ago has stabilized the political environment. She defended the decision to seal off a large section of Victoria Park last Saturday, saying radicals could cause harm on sensitive dates such as June 4th. Isaac Lee, HKIBC.
2 men have denied murdering an elderly cleaner with a brick during an anti-government protest in 2019. Calvin Lau and Cheng Yin-ting, who were under 18 years old at the time, were escorted to the High Court this morning. They were charged with murder, wounding with intent, and rioting. A 70-year-old cleaner died a day after he was hit on the head with a brick during the protest outside North District Town Hall in Shangshui. A police officer who arrested Lau testified in court that the defendant denied hurling objects or beating other people during the protest. The officer also rejected a claim by the defense lawyer that police threatened Lau's girlfriend to make him plead guilty. The Hong Kong Palace Museum will open its doors to the public on July 2nd. The museum in the West Kowloon Cultural District will feature more than 900 works of art on loan from the Palace Museum in Beijing. Some of the pieces will go on show for the first time. Adults have to pay $50 for general exhibitions and $120 for special shows. Students and the elderly will be charged half price, but there will be no admission fees every Wednesday in the first 12 months.
Well, this is obviously a very significant contributions to Hong Kong. I mean, to be a financial center, a world financial center, it cannot just be a place to make money. If you compare, we typically compare Hong Kong with London and New York. And both London and New York are not just a financial center, it's also a arts and cultural hub.
Overseas, British Prime Minister Boris Johnson has ruled out a snapped election after surviving a vote of no confidence. But after a significant number of lawmakers in his Conservative Party voted against him, Johnson faces an uphill battle.
I can announce that the Parliamentary Party does have confidence.
With that, British Prime Minister Boris Johnson was able to cling onto the position he has held for the past 3 years. Although he won a no-confidence vote, 148 members of parliament from his Conservative Party abandoned him following a series of scandals involving the violation of COVID rules. But 211 other Tory MPs sided with Johnson. The Prime Minister said the result was positive and decisive.
I've got many more MPs supporting me now than I did in 2019. I'm happy with that. We're going to bash on. We have a huge agenda and we're going to get it done.
Johnson denied that he needs to seek a new mandate through a snap election. But his premiership is likely to be challenged by an emboldened opposition and a growing Tory rebellion.
A Prime Minister of honour would look at the figures, accept the fact that he has lost the support of a significant proportion of his party and consider his position.
The British public are fed up with a Prime Minister who promises big but never delivers. Fed up with a Prime Minister who's presided over a culture of lies and law-breaking at the heart of government.
In 2019, Johnson led the Conservatives to their biggest electoral victory in decades. But in a reflection of rising voter discontent with Johnson, the party didn't fare well in local elections last month. Many voters felt that a staunch Brexiteer lacks a clear vision to take Britain forward. A woman in the U.S. state of Florida has been charged with manslaughter after her 2-year-old son shot and killed her husband with a gun that was left unattended. The tragedy occurred after the toddler got hold of a pistol and shot his father in the back. The 26-year-old man died in hospital. The couple had previously been convicted of child neglect and narcotics possession and were prohibited from owning guns. Apart from manslaughter, the 28-year-old mother was charged with culpable negligence and possession of a firearm by a felon. Australia's central bank has surprised the country with the biggest interest rate increase in 22 years. The 50 basis point hike is aimed at reducing inflation, but comes at a cost to most people.
Well, this is really tough news for Australian homeowners who are already facing skyrocketing costs of living in the form of spiking energy prices and higher prices for groceries as well. Australians expected higher interest rates today, but that doesn't make this news any less difficult for them.
Analysts were expecting an increase of 40 basis points at the most, but the Reserve Bank of Australia added half a percentage point to take the rate to 0.85%. Further rate hikes are on the cards as inflation is expected to rise to a 2-decade high of 6%. The Hong Kong stock market drifted lower today as investors waited to see how the mainland economy performs before making further moves. The Hang Seng Index lost 0.6% despite a good showing by tech stocks. JD.com led the advance, surging by 3%. The educational sector was another winner, with China Education Group soaring 21%. This followed a 70% increase in student enrollment in schools run by the company. Now let's take a look at the markets. The Hang Seng Index closed down 122 points. Top 10 active stocks: Alibaba up $1.85, Meituan up 90 cents, and JD.com up $7. Kuaishou Technology up $1, Hong Kong exchanges up $4.60, and Tragafund down 10 cents. Forex trading against Hong Kong dollar, Euro is trading at 8.36, British pound at 9.80, and Canadian dollar 6.22. Over to the UK market, FTSE 100 is down 15 points. On to the weather now. The amber rainstorm warning signal is now in force. Tomorrow will be cloudy with showers and squally thunderstorms. Temperatures range between 25 and 29 degrees. Heavy showers with thunderstorms on Thursday and Friday. Now let's take a look at the weather around the world. That's our main news for Tuesday night. Join us for more updates at 11. I'm Sarah Wong. Thanks for watching. Take care and stay safe.